Alrighty, welcome everyone to our first episode of Shit Tier. My name is Robin. With me, we have Jason.
Hey guys.
And for this episode, we have Nate.
Hello, how's it going?
It's going
Happy to
pretty
be
good.
here.
Yeah. It's
Alright.
kind of a slower day, but a nice one.
So we figured we'd start out with something that wasn't very controversial. We'd be ranking all the states and which ones are awful and which ones are not as awful.
Right.
All right. So for context here, let's first up. So Millman, you're born Florida, raised in Vermont, currently going to college in Missouri.
And I have family in North Carolina and friends in California and so on and so forth.
Personally, born in Boston, raised in Vermont, currently living in St. Louis, and I have a lot of family in upstate New York. Nate?
I was actually born in Florida as well, and family moved to Missouri. But I've been to a few places on the West Coast. I've been to California once or twice, I think. And I have family all over the place as well. So
Yeah, and so for our rating of the states, we have 3 criteria. We're just going to keep it at 3 to keep it simple. So the first one is the actual environment, the nature side of it. Just what would it be like without any people around? And so obviously California is going to have an advantage over some other state, but of course the next 2 criteria can balance that out. The next one is the people. We're not talking about government. That's the third criteria. But the second one is just how do the people act? Are they friendly? Are they creative? Are they outgoing, introverted? Like, what is good or bad about them?
Yeah, like we were discussing how the government of Florida is very different from the people of Florida in that aspect, you know? Like,
which is why we decided to separate the government into a third category, which the government, obviously, it's going to be a little controversial. Let's try not to be a little too aggressive.
We figured we'd get political episode 1. But
yeah. Well, okay. We won't.
That always works out well. I mean, what could possibly go wrong?
Right. So we'll try to be calm about it unless it's California, because yeah, they deserve it. Anyway, let's get started, and we're gonna go alphabetically because it's just easy to do.
Agreed. All right, so starting with Alabama. Alabama environment. I've never been to Bama. I know it's hot as all hell. I had an uncle who was stationed there for a little bit in the army, and he just talked about the heat. And that I don't know if they're flat. I know they have a little bit of the ocean on their little tail, but
they're kind of like a New Hampshire of the South when it comes to beaches. They have a tiny bit.
Yeah, like Hampton
and Hampton. Hampton, ironically, is like one of the worst beaches I've been to.
It's so cold.
It's so bad too. They don't even take care of it.
Okay, we'll get back to that. But Alabama, yeah, I have no idea if they're mountainous. I don't think they are.
I'll start looking up stuff while we talk.
As far as the people, I don't know how they're doing these days, but
well, they got the stereotype.
They got the stereotype.
Cousin fuckers.
Yes. That's good enough to put in at least an S here. I mean, come on.
And they are also historically known to be a generally more racist place.
So then
I don't think they probably are anymore. But the history.
We'll go down.
All right. And as far as the government, I hear nothing about Alabama politics.
Because they're one of the diehard red states.
Yeah, diehard red states. Nothing really changes. I'm pretty sure they have a super huge like anti-weed thing there.
But in general, it doesn't seem like there's anything that can be negative about the government.
Yeah, the government is just kind of basic red state.
So let's put that at a C tier for the government.
Okay.
The people, I've heard really good things about like the stereotypical southerner.
Southern hospitality is a huge thing there. Yeah. I will give them that. That's like a legit thing that I've heard about.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I feel like people for Alabama, I'm gonna like A or B. probably.
Oh, elevation, by the way, they're normally at 500 feet, and then the highest is 2,400 feet. So
So they're
not
kinda-
that high. They're really
Yeah.
flat.
They're okay.
Yeah.
So they probably have a pretty basic land layout. They've got rivers on the sides at least for their border. Or no, they don't. They have like straight lines. What am I thinking of?
Well, yeah, I think the people can be at this point a B or an A tier because of the hospitality, but then again, it's a bit strong. Like they're a bit headstrong, if that's the right word for it.
I feel like overall Alabama's like a B, like a solid B. You know?
Yeah, the weather definitely kind of drags it down a little bit.
Yeah.
But the actual location seems like it's nice.
Yeah.
If only it wasn't so hot. But if
if weed law is something that you guys want to take into account with that, it is very, very strict when it comes to weed law, apparently. So,
You know, we'll bump it
I'm
down.
comfortable putting it at a B tier, but if that's something you guys.
look, the cousin fucker part balances out the weed part. that is their
Back
version
up
of
to
legal
B.
weed.
All right. So we finished Bama. Bama is B tier. Alaska.
You know,
There's-
the location is fucking amazing from what I've seen. It's just dangerous as shit.
It's very pretty, but I don't think I'd want to live there.
I mean,
Agreed.
well, it depends on your lifestyle. Because if you're the type where you don't mind just taking a few days or so to yourself in between seeing people or whatnot, it can be some of the best like living standards for that. But if you're a city person, obviously that's not going to happen.
Yeah, there's
I would like living in Alaska, probably, but it's very cold, and I'm not a huge fan of that.
Right now,
what are the people like in Alaska?
well, you kind of have to
Honestly,
be friendly. You
No
kinda-
idea.
Well, in areas like the colder climates of the world, you kind of have to be nicer to people because you can die a lot faster if you don't.
Yeah, I
help
guess that's
people
true.
out.
There's a common, like, we need to survive kind of idea with them.
Yeah, like in Canada, for example, it's a common courtesy to leave your doors unlocked in your car, because in certain areas, like wild animals like polar bears will randomly show up, and if you find a car, that's one of the only safe spaces. So I'm assuming people from Alaska are generally nicer, but obviously they're going to be more to themselves, and if you can't provide or give back something, they might not be as friendly.
So okay. And Alaska politics. The only thing I've heard about from Alaska is like the oil deals,
No,
and people get like payouts because
no, you're missing the famous person from Alaska. What's her name?
Sarah Palin.
Palin.
Sarah Palin. You know,
I was gonna say Pitbull because he did a concert up there one time.
that's right. Dude, good on him for actually like going through with that and be like, well, they won, so yeah, screw it, I'll go.
Yeah.
Alaska time.
So
What a guy.
I do think the people bump it up a lot, and the weather or the environment doesn't really bump it down too much because it is very much kind of like an untouched place. It's not too highway-ish, if that makes sense. It's not a lot of highway
Yeah,
brick buildings and whatnot.
I
Concrete.
think Alaska's another B tier.
I would say an A tier.
A. Nate, where are you leaning?
I'm mixed bag on this. I can see the argument for A tier, but I think it's B, honestly.
Okay, but I think it's above Alabama. Like if we're gonna organize per line.
We can give it a B.5. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, we're putting it above Alabama, just because
Okay.
it's generally a calmer place.
Okay. Arkansas.
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 I've never
I am
been
confusion.
to Arkansas.
You know, according to someone that we watch and adore, Arkansas is where people eat babies. And
Wait, who's this again?
Tom Segura.
Oh, yeah. I
Um,
can't remember.
They also have really harsh weed laws. Very red state. That's where Bill's from originally, right? Bill Clinton.
Really?
Like he was a representative of like Illinois or Indiana, but he's from Arkansas
Oh,
originally.
Yeah, that sounds right.
He was born.
I'm pretty sure he's an Arkansas boy.
Yeah, he's the
So-
governor of Arkansas and the attorney general of the same.
Yeah.
So yeah, it looks like he.
Yeah, so Bill's Arkansas. So there's that.
The first black
our
man
first
in
black
office.
president. Yeah.
Dude, playing jazz, just goofing off the
That
whole
man
time.
shreds on the saxophone.
But I wish I had more to say about Arkansas, but
So,
it's just one that
so
falls
does
under the radar.
does his does Mr. Clinton's or I guess former President Clinton does his like involvement with Arkansas have anything to do with why we might put it lower?
Nah, I fuck with Bill.
I think
Nope,
he's
nope.
he's kind of.
I-
Well, I don't know his policies. I can't really say if he was good or
He-
bad. He was just fun from what it looked like.
What was it? It was the first
He was
time
the
in like
50th Attorney General of Arkansas.
it was like the first time in like I forget how long it was. It was like 20 or 30 years that he actually was reversing the national debt, which
Really?
yeah, I don't know how he did it. I haven't researched it too much. It might mean that he was heavily taxing. It could mean that he was just lowering government spending.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, lowering national debt,
Ooh.
I can't say that I have too much of a problem with that.
So I don't know if this is. It's probably trustworthy, but I'm looking up some fun facts. Arkansas is the only state in the U.S. that produces diamonds.
Dude, seriously?
Yeah, that's what it says. And it's
That's-
It's known for very beautiful lakes, rivers, and hot springs.
That's right. Hot springs are yeah.
Yeah.
Dude.
Where the fuck did they get those? They must
See,
have
my-
imported them from Japan or something.
But
That's-
government and also environment, both A tier, I think.
Yeah.
People.
You don't hear about people from Arkansas.
I hear that they're garbage people. I'm
Really?
very sorry if you're from Arkansas, but I hear that you're garbage.
Okay.
That's what
I
I've
hear that you're a
heard.
terrible person, and I'm okay saying that. But you know what? I will say, yeah, I've heard the same thing.
I think
Unfortunately,
I think that drops it down to a B. I think it's better than Alaska.
No, I wouldn't say
No?
better than Alaska.
I
Better than
disagree with that. I don't think it's better than Alaska.
Better than
Well,
Bama.
well, does anybody have
Better than
experience
Alabama,
with people
sure.
from Alabama? Nate and Robin, do you know the reputation?
No.
No?
No.
So, like, we already know that people from Arkansas, at least from your understanding, are pretty bad. And that's probably the deciding factor that puts them below Alabama. Because at least with Alabama, you either have, like, really
All right.
nice people, I suppose,
Alright.
or just neutral.
Okay, on to Arizona. Arizona, this is our first state that has like sports teams as well.
Okay.
So like Phoenix has, I'm pretty sure Phoenix is one of the all fours. So they have a hockey team, a basketball team, baseball, and yeah, they have all four.
Which is fucking weird.
That's
given
that's
that
genuinely impressive.
What is it? Phoenix, Arizona is actually the sixth most populous city in the U.S. Something like that. It's
Okay.
like fifth or sixth.
So I'm gonna look up interesting facts while we're talking
It's
about
just
these.
this huge place in the middle of the fucking desert. They're like, this is the spot. This
Yeah. This
this
is
is
the
where we
spot.
make an entire state.
That's where all the people who can handle heat or sleep with a comforter on when it's like 80 degrees out want to escape all the crazy people.
See, okay, so
where nobody
people,
else can go.
People of Arizona, desert trash. I'm just gonna put it out there.
Oop.
That's
Now, from what I'm reading though, they have a lot of national parks and natural areas that they
it's
call
true.
them.
They have their
So-
environment is really cool. They
Because like
have
the Grand Canyon and such is one of the 7 natural wonders.
yeah, like they have some really cool stuff going on in the environment. And yeah, national parks to boot, but
Wait, is the Grand Canyon in
God.
Arizona?
uh,
Or is
is
it
that-
separate?
where's the Grand Canyon?
I think
quick.
Grand
I
Canyon,
think
yeah,
it's-
it's in Arizona.
Okay, cool. We almost had a
It's
problem
kind of like
there.
where you just kind of have to throw a dart at one of the states, and
Yeah, it's around there.
it's around there.
It's some desert place.
So, how do we decide if the environment's good or bad? Because it's hot as shit, but it's very beautiful.
I feel like the natural beauty trumps just a little bit more.
A little bit? Okay.
I think the environment gets a B because it's so fucking hot. That part of it is really awful, but the beauty like brings it up, you know.
Okay. And what about the people you said they were trash? From what you were saying.
I've heard desert trash. I can't say that I've known too many people from Arizona. I don't really know much about their politics or anything like that.
Here, I'll look up a website.
I'm willing to bet the city's blue, but I bet they're a state where like the city's blue, but the rest of the state's red. You know, one of those.
So wait, I have a website that apparently ranked the friendliest people.
Yeah.
Arizona's 39th.
So they're on the lower end of the scale.
Yeah, Alabama's 21st, so they're up higher. Alaska is 37th, closer to Arizona. There's a lot of A words right now. So.
I feel like Arizona, it just kind of gives me C tier vibes.
Ooh, and you know Arkansas? They're 49th. So you
40, Arkansas has awful people. I was
Oh.
Yikes. Hey, if you're from Arkansas and you're listening, look, man, facts are facts.
Sorry,
Look,
guys.
we don't have control over that tier list. We have control over this one.
Right.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. And then,
So I feel like Arizona's C.
yeah.
I'll agree with that.
C.
Because it's not. It's kind of like Alaska, but if it's a little more unbearable for weather
All right.
and people.
All right. California.
Oh shit. Let's look up.
So we actually were discussing this a little bit beforehand. California, I think environmentally is an S tier.
Yeah.
It's such a large state, which helps them, but they have gorgeous beaches. They have coastlines up on Route 1 in Northern California. All of Northern California is just this crazy beautiful like spruce forest with mountains.
Mm-hmm.
They have the desert if you're into that. They have everything that the U.S. has to offer in one place, basically.
Yeah.
And they do it well.
That's basically why the movie industry moved there after they left. What was it? New York? Because it's just like everything's within like basically a couple hour drive.
You have a great example of every biome in the U.S. done beautifully, all in one state.
Yeah.
I legitimately think that California environmentally is an S tier. Now, that being said,
yeah, the people. Oh, I have the friendliest part. They are ranked 40th.
Not very friendly people.
No, it can either be kind of like too nice or too mean or like too pretentious.
I'm trying to take myself out of the thought process of like all of California is like Los Angeles, like because they're not.
Right.
But let's take a look at, like, I read a lot that a lot of Northern California has a huge problem with, like, heroin and meth usage.
Yeah.
Like, that's a huge issue for them in the north. Yeah. Because
I didn't know that.
once you get north of, like, the Bay Area, there's not really many people. There's not a whole lot going on.
Well, even in the places like the popular places like San Francisco, Los Angeles, whatever. I think it was Las Vegas. No, it wasn't. Fuck, what am I trying to say? It was San Francisco had the human shit problem.
Yeah, that's right. Because there was human fecal matter all over the street. There was such a huge homeless issue.
Oh yeah.
And there was a bunch of people that were like, I've been to India and China, and I've done shows all over the world, and only in San Francisco have I almost stepped in human shit.
Yeah, and there's also going to be a lot of druggies because homeless people tend to do that type of stuff.
And it's impossible to live there because everything's so expensive.
Yeah.
And we could get into a whole discussion about California politics, but I think we all can generally say not a fan. I don't think any of us are on that train.
So that would probably make it an F.
There comes a point in time where it goes just a little bit too far with like with some stuff.
I think California is an F tier. I think or maybe D. But
no,
it's
fuck them.
no,
'em.
fuck them. F tier. All
Because
right.
you guys need to fix your
'Cause
shit.
they would be shit tier if it wasn't for the immaculate environment. that
Well,
they
and
have.
also the government also makes the environment worse with the forest fires that happen every
That's
single year.
right, the fucking forest fires.
Yeah.
We're gonna plant
Yeah.
eucalyptus trees. Aussies 100 years
And
earlier.
then, well,
okay.
then they make it so that they don't clean up any of the wild brush that develops.
Controlled burn, bro.
Yeah,
Like
they don't do
how-
anything. So
Man, it's crazy how the natives that lived here for years and years and years beforehand did that. Everything was fine. We were like, it's bad though, but it's not. It's not.
yeah. So
Um,
fix yourself, California. We're disappointed. We're not mad. Well, we are mad, but we're more disappointed.
Get your shit together.
all right, Colorado.
Okay, Colorado.
Okay,
I'm a
so
giraffe.
the weed heads. Obviously, we're gonna that's where South Park is located.
Yeah.
We love South Park.
And if we're starting with people again,
Very
they are ranked 7th.
Yeah, very nice.
Very friendly.
A lot of stoners. I feel like Colorado is the central northwest equivalent of Vermont.
Yeah, I mean, because people ski there,
Yeah,
and
the
they
ski
have bigger
resorts
mountains.
and the mountain. Yeah,
It's colder,
and the weed and
yeah. Generally relaxed policies whenever they decide to
yeah,
relax.
like they're. I feel like Colorado represents everything good about the Democratic Party.
Yeah, and it's
I can agree with that.
they're struggling.
I will
versus-
say this.
Yeah.
The environment is also real nice there as well.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, and you
Like
can
like
often
the
see-
state parks are beautiful.
So I feel like government wise, pretty decent. I feel like people wise, hell yeah.
Let me.
No.
And environment, absolutely. I feel like Colorado's an A, or I don't know if we want to go S with Colorado,
I
but
have
they're at least an A in my eyes.
so in
Oh, for sure.
So usnews.com does a lot of like government type stuff because of course it's news.
Okay.
And so I can find the rankings now from their site. Colorado is ranked number 10th in terms of government or state rankings. So that usually means the governmental side because it means healthcare, education, economy, infrastructure,
Yeah.
and so on.
Yeah. I
So,
mailman, you think an A or S?
let's put it at the front of A.
Yeah,
And
like
then
a
if
really
they-
strong A tier.
And if we need to, we'll adjust it. But for right now, let's make sure we aren't getting too ahead of ourselves.
Okay.
As, as we said while giving California F tier.
Connecticut,
Connecticut, okay.
land of the rich white people.
Yeah, I would say that they usually have that air of
Who else
Arrogance.
have you met from Connecticut?
fuck.
Every person I've ever met from Connecticut, rich white person.
Yeah, the SpongeBob joke. He has a pool in his pool.
Is
in
a
his
good
pool.
point.
Like, dude, I have some family down in Connecticut. I've been plenty of times, and it just screams. Everyone here is like essentially a stockbroker.
Heck,
Everyone here is an executive of some sort.
And funny enough, even though they have it well off, they are ranked 38th friendliest.
Yeah,
So like they're not terrible, but they're really
they,
not good.
they give off a greater than thou vibe. Is what
Yeah.
I always get.
Oh, that's always pleasant to be around.
Yeah,
Right? Because in Vermont, it's kind of like you can definitely see a little bit of that, but not in a bad way. But I feel like it
yeah. I
definitely
feel like
comes across
Vermont
that way.
people have like some actual kindness behind it.
So that's definitely going to take off a little bit of points. It's
Uh,
just the people.
environmentally, they do have a coast, but it's a New England sea coast, and it's cold as shit.
Yeah.
As far as the government, they're a pretty strong blue state, actually.
Connecticut is ranked 21st.
21st. Yeah, I feel like Connecticut politically is kind of middle of the pack. Like, I don't have anything great. I don't have anything bad to say about them.
Their economy and infrastructure is
I'm sure their education's great with all the tax money they get.
well, economy
Oh,
is
for sure.
economy is 30th, infrastructure is 46th,
Really? They have a
And-
shit infrastructure?
Opportunity is 33rd. And then,
We need to get shit together. Connecticut.
oh, funny enough, fiscal stability is 46th.
Really?
So it's
Well,
very make
huh.
it or break it, I feel, in that.
It must be, yeah. I feel like Connecticut's another C tier, you know?
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Starting to sound like it.
So,
And environment, like, it's flat as hell, and you got a kind of shitty coastline. That's about it. There's not much else going on in Connecticut. It's pretty during, like, the spring.
yeah, because it has
It's-
the northeastern.
Yeah,
Full
there's a
time.
lot of forestation, but
Yeah. I would say because that's probably C tier, the environment. The people are probably a D tier. And then the politics is probably like, well, from the
C or
face
D.
value, it says B, but it kind of drops down to a C.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
I
might
think-
say
I'd
D.
put it,
D or C.
I think C behind Arizona.
It's going to be near the back of the pack
Yeah.
in C tier.
Okay, yeah. Delaware, where for whatever reason, when I was a kid in 4th grade, I was like, I know where I'm going to move to when I'm a kid. And I wanted to move to Delaware. I don't know why. I just kind of was like, this is where I'm going.
Okay.
And everyone looked at me like, why? And I was like, I don't know. Delaware is the place to be.
What's very
Might have
weird.
been that thing where it's like you just like the way it sounds.
It was nearby, and I was like, dude, Delaware is anywhere I go in Delaware, I'm like an hour from the coast.
Yeah. So that's a definite plus. is the
Delaware,
coast.
for what I know it as, is basically just a tax haven for large industries to set
Yeah.
up their headquarters.
Yeah, that's what we were told in business school.
Yeah.
Like,
Delaware as a state was like, okay, guys, we're just gonna specialize into this one thing, and that's what we're gonna do.
so that kind of helps with the beaches and such, but the way that the government is ranked in this is just below Connecticut and Kansas, funny enough, at 23rd. And in terms of friendly people, they are 48th.
Ooh,
Yeah.
they're a not too friendly crowd.
Well, they're kind of close to. Not. Oh wait, no. Where's Connecticut compared to Delaware? Are they a little bit
They're
further?
like
in?
right next to each other. Yeah. They're
Yeah,
not too far
so
off.
I think when you're next to an asshole for your entire life, you probably become one. So
Well, let's see. What is Delaware on?
Oh.
Delaware's right next to Jersey, isn't it?
yeah, Jersey's not
Yeah.
good either. So Jersey. Oh wait,
Jersey and
okay,
Maryland.
so Connecticut is just below Massachusetts, and Rhode Island's to its right. New
Oh.
York, especially like the islands, are just below Connecticut. New Jersey's below New York, and then Delaware's below New Jersey. So you got this string of assholes on the East Coast.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't have been as bad if its neighbors weren't so shitty.
Yeah.
It's like the Plain kid that just got corrupted.
I guess so. And especially how they do the tax system there.
Yeah, I have no idea what it's like being just a regular person to live in Delaware. It's probably not amazing.
Yeah. So I would say
Yeah, I can imagine so.
I think Delaware's a D tier. I think Delaware's probably our first
Yeah.
D tier.
yeah, suitable for its first slider.
Yeah. All right. Do we want to do DC?
Sure.
Okay.
DC, you're full of corrupt politicians. Worst tier ever.
Shit tier.
Fuck you.
I'm gonna go shit tier
Shit tier.
easily, yeah.
Immediately.
Now what is kind of funny though is like the architecture is kind of cool because we went on a rugby trip, you and I, Rob,
Yeah.
and it was kind of fun. But the people you didn't really interact with the people,
Dude,
and
Everyone that lives there is either a politician or someone that works in a place that's run for politicians. That's
Yeah.
like,
so they're either holier than thou or they're just corrupt as shit.
or you're some guy that works at the Smithsonian.
Yeah.
And it's-
Ooh, like
I don't know of anyone else that lives in DC other than Smithsonian workers and politicians.
like the Night at the Museum guy.
Yeah, like Ben Stiller.
Ben Stiller, there you go. So
Um,
unless you're Ben Stiller and you live in DC, fuck you.
All right, so now we come to the OG hometown for two of our members here, Florida.
Hey, S tier right away.
Florida does have a pretty diverse environment. In the north, you have a lot of swamp. You have the Everglades.
Yeah,
In the south, you become Puerto Rico.
you
And-
become like you become part of the Caribbean, and then in some other areas it turns into retirement districts.
Yep.
So Oh, and then you have the
Dude.
crazies. The crazies.
Dude, I have an aunt and an uncle that are snowbirds, which I don't know if people are familiar, but a lot of old retired people from the north, what they do is when they retire, they get a house down in Florida, and they live there for like 7 months of the year during winter, because the winters aren't as harsh, and the tax breaks for being a retiree are way better if you're a Florida resident.
Mm.
So what they do is 7 months out of the year they go down to Florida and they just live there, and then they come back for the summer in Vermont.
Yeah.
And we call them snowbirds. But apparently the culture down there, if you're single and you're an old retired person, if you go to like the restaurants in town, if you wear gold, that's supposedly like a sign that you're down to hook up with people.
That's
Like,
weird.
Oh my
Like there's a
gosh.
huge hookup culture with all the retired people in Florida.
Oh yeah, because
That's,
it's kind of common knowledge
that's
that
horrifying.
Yeah, because well, when you have retirement homes, let's say, it's like common for them to have rampant STDs.
Yeah,
Because what are you supposed to do all day?
yeah. They,
Um,
they just screw, man.
Yeah, your hands don't work, your
I
back
mean-
hurts, but hey, something else works. Well, if it does work. So wait, quick question, Nate.
I mean, I guess that's a good point. Yeah.
Why did your family leave Florida? Because I have a specific reason I want to share after. But
It's kind of a personal reason for my parents, but we ended up leaving because I guess my dad was looking for some more for like a job expansion, and the place he was working wasn't giving him too much of that, so we ended up moving to Chillicothe. He stayed in the same job field, but ended up like getting, I guess, getting a promotion to an extent. So that was part of it.
you had to find.
But I will say,
yeah.
the time that my family spent in Florida wasn't fantastic.
Yeah.
And so that kind of gets into the like the environment as well, because both of my parents were from like Kansas, and then sorry, not Kansas. My dad was from Kansas, and my mother was from Nebraska. So it's a big transition for it being like really hot, and also the gators. We had a pond close by that had alligators in it, and my mother was uncomfortable with the fact that they would watch her children play in their backyard. It wasn't a great environment. As much as it's beautiful out, it also is not.
So I've also heard, because I have some family that lives in Florida. I have an uncle and well, they're my mom's cousins. They live down there in Tampa, and it's really fucking hot. It's just so hot. I've been to Florida I think 5 times at this point, and it's just unbearably hot every time.
Oh yeah.
And talking to them
Well,
about,
it'll also feel that way doubly so if you're from the north.
so they also have kids, and they talk to me about like moving and trying to get to a better like school district, because Florida education is like one of the worst in the entire United States.
Right, which is what I was gonna bring
Really?
up.
Yeah, Florida has awful education.
Which is weird because USA or U.S. News says that it's ranked 3rd for education.
That is horseshit.
I know that is so weird. Maybe they mean like college, but even then,
Dude.
that's
Yeah,
I don't know about that one.
that.
No.
No.
Okay, so that kind of brings me to my reason why my family left. Is my mom and dad lived there for 10 years or so. And they got used to it, no matter how many bugs or whatever would just show up. Because that is a negative of Florida, but at the same time, you're not going to live for the bugs and all that. You're going for the hot weather so you can go to the beach and party and vacation. So the environment is definitely nice, but the people, which my site says they're ranked 42nd. I was born near Fort Lauderdale area, and the area I lived in was good, but all the areas around it were like gang territories and criminal areas and just very bad. I might have said this on a previous podcast, but my mom was driving to pick up my dad later on in like the day or something, and she just needed to go pick him up. She ends up taking a wrong turn, gets into a neighborhood, and notices literally everything is barred. The windows, the like doors, everything is barred. And a police officer ends up speeding up to her, flashing his lights, and doesn't even get out of the car. He drives up next to her, rolls down his window, and says, "I'm going to lead you out of here. Don't you ever come back here or you will die." And they kind of realized when they had me that they didn't want me growing up in that type of area because there's a lot of drugs, crime, and, just stuff like I was explaining. And the education, they always had some sort of metal detector or high security in their schools because people would often show up to schools or daycares and just abduct kids out of nowhere.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And that was the area I grew up in. So in terms of the people, I don't think that is a good sign, at least for my experience.
I'm just gonna say
To be real, it sounded. Well, I was going to suggest F tier, but
yeah. You know what? Fuck it. Yeah, F. Florida's F.
it's hot as balls. There's gangs. The people are terrible.
The government, I haven't.
But
heard
if you're
very
into
much from
cocaine,
them. Yeah, if you're into crazy people and cocaine and the beach weather, like
dude,
go
if you
ahead.
want to live in GTA in real life, Florida's the place.
Yeah.
But-
There you go.
okay. On to Georgia. Peaches.
Yeah, peaches are nice.
I'm a fan of beaches.
I've heard it's really pretty there. Really, really pretty. It's another hot as balls state though.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's kind of given.
They have a lot more coastline.
hmm They have a lot of football and
Yeah,
Yeah,
a lot of
sports.
college stuff going on. And Georgia Tech is like a legit school. I ain't gonna slight Georgia Tech at all.
mhm. This site lists a fun fact as Georgians are safe from the zombie apocalypse. I guess because they have so many guns or something.
Yeah. Dude, if it wasn't
Okay.
so Georgia politically, I know Atlanta is
It's because
Oh,
the CDC. The CDC's set in Georgia. My
So-
bad. I thought it was going to be a gun fact or something.
so Georgia is let's see, Atlanta is currently like really, really blue. And there's kind of a big like conflict there in that there's a lot of hardcore liberals that are starting to sprout up in Atlanta and the rest of Georgia is not really having it.
Yeah.
Is my
Mhm.
understanding.
That's what happens in a lot of.
So there's a little bit of a political situation going
Yeah,
on.
it's kind of like Texas right now with like Houston. Like Houston's becoming a super blue spot in the middle of Texas.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like Georgia overall though, and there's also the meme of like Atlanta and like everyone's gay. But
Really?
yeah, that's
I never heard of that.
you haven't heard that one?
No.
Shit.
Damn. Well, speaking of
That's
people.
where Queer Eye is located out of. It's
Oh,
Atlanta,
yeah,
Georgia.
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I can
Dude,
see that.
no jokes. Love that show.
Yeah.
Fucking love that show.
It's pretty good until some of the.
I hate Jonathan though.
Yeah, and-
Jonathan gets on my nerves so much.
Who is he? Is he the cook?
He's the hair guy.
The hair guy, yeah.
Yeah,
He's
Jonathan.
a little over exaggerated. He's. I feel like he wants to be the center of attention, so he always overdoes things.
Jonathan's the kind of guy that I can tell is like faking constantly,
Yeah.
and I feel like in 5 years I'm gonna learn about how he had 5 children locked up in his basement.
Wow.
And
Now I can agree with you on that, but I also feel that the what's the black guy's name?
Cameo is
I can't remember.
it's something like Cameo.
I think
Shit. Fuck, his name.
I think he kind of wants
See,
to
I
discuss
like-
his own problems more than the other people's problems.
Mm.
Because I've constantly seen it where he's talking to people, then all of a sudden he's like, "Oh well, I think," or "my group," or "my community." It's like,
Yeah,
oh, it's
it's
Karamo,
Caramel.
Caramel.
Yeah, fuck. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't get that vibe as much from him. We've had this discussion before.
Yeah, And so I don't really. Some of the cast is kind of weird, but anyway,
Love
but-
the cooking dude. Love Tan. Tan's awesome.
hell yeah.
Tan.
How can you not love him? Now,
Love that guy.
in terms of ranking for friendliness, they are ranked 16th.
So they are on the friendly side.
They are very friendly,
Hell yeah.
and their government tends to be one of the strong red states, like you're saying.
But they're starting to.
They're starting to wane, but that could go either way.
I feel like Georgia's a B tier, and I actually would put Georgia above Alabama.
I would agree. Yeah.
I'd agree with that.
Now, does it go above
Alaska.
Alaska, yeah.
I feel like it does.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds like the conversation's gone that way, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I going into this did not expect Georgia to be ranked high, but actually talking it through, yeah.
Yeah, because they're
Georgia's
nicer
alright.
people. People are a big part of life. So while we're trying to have every category be equal in weight, the people part is a huge deciding factor here.
All right, Hawaii. We know at least one big person who's from Hawaii. Michael
Donald.
Reeves.
Oh no,
Michael Reeves.
The Rock.
The
Or he looked. Yeah, I think he's Hawaiian or No, he's not Polynesian. I'm.
he's of Polynesian descent, at least. I'm pretty sure.
I think he's close enough to.
It's the
Hawaiian.
same thing.
But I've also heard native Hawaiians are racist as shit towards white people.
Hell yeah.
I could see that.
Well, it's because we came in and we were like, you're a tourist spot now, and you're also a part of the U.S., so...
And then Japan bombed them.
Dude, I feel like Hawaii's had it rough. They're a beautiful place.
They're also kind of like
Gorgeous.
they used to be like a dictatorship because they kind of had
Hell
to
yeah.
be with their
South
situation.
Pacific time.
Yeah, so Hawaii is ranked 10th on friendliness scale, but I don't know, given that the whole issue between the mainland Americans and Hawaiians, I'm gonna kind of say that cancels out a little bit.
I feel like Hawaii's like a low B tier.
Yeah, well, so the nature is beautiful. The
Yeah.
people can be hit or miss. And then what is the government like?
I'm pretty sure they're one of the higher education spots. They're a pretty blue state.
Let me look that up. quick.
Um,
Hawaii is ranked 24th. And
middle of the pack.
they have very high, what's it called, healthcare.
I could see that. Yep.
Very,
Yeah.
very low economy and opportunity because it's all tourism.
It's just pure
And
tourism.
Yeah.
it's a rock in the middle of the ocean. Or kind of low fiscal stability, but very good crime and corrections. So obviously that's
Yeah.
also low.
I feel like that all comes together for a low B tier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that, yeah.
Do we want to put them ahead of Arkansas at least?
Yeah,
Yes.
Arkansas people are assholes, and we at least know that the environment is like good and the government's alright and whatnot.
All right, Idaho, the potato place.
Hey, I love the name.
Look, the potatoes alone give this at least a little bit of an edge.
They're definitely top half.
Yeah.
Idaho is one of the places with no people, is my understanding.
Yeah, it's one of those states.
No one lives in Idaho.
But-
Boise,
but-
Boise's a ghost town. I don't know who's there. No one.
The people of Idaho are ranked
I bet
15th.
they're friendly. Yeah.
Very friendly. Because it is very rural.
It's small
Usually-
town.
Yeah, small
Yeah.
towns are going to be a lot nicer.
They're up north.
They have
As far as an environment, what does Idaho got? I know Montana has mountains.
just under 2 million people, 1.8 million. So they have a very low density of
Yeah.
people.
What does Idaho actually look like? I feel like it's like rolling plains, kind of. Like, what if you took Nebraska and put it up top where there's not like
Pota-
tornadoes?
Is it weird? Like, my perception of Idaho was that there was just like a lot of mud.
Mud.
Really? I
Like
could
for
see
some
that.
reason, when I think Idaho, I think like a lot of mud because it's known for like potatoes and like maybe just like potato fields or just all of Idaho.
Well, it is bordering Washington, Oregon, Wyoming, and Montana, which Wyoming's close to Colorado, and the mountain range I think goes through there.
Yeah.
What's it? What's the
What was that? The Rockies.
Rockies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think Idaho's probably got like a mid tier.
I can see from some of the
Environment.
pictures, it's very beautiful when you get to the mountains. And
I feel like Idaho's a big like sunset picture.
the
place.
Rocky Mountains go from top right to bottom right on the state. So there's a good chunk of the state that is very
No.
mountainy and
Okay.
pretty.
I feel like Idaho. Solid B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where would that
Yeah.
go in B?
I would put it above Hawaii. I put it around where Alabama is. Just above Alabama, I think.
I'd say so. I
Yeah.
think the people give it the edge over Hawaii.
Yeah. Plus, like, I don't know. I'm from a small town.
And
Small town has a bit of a place
Yeah.
for me.
now, when people say that Hawaii is very beautiful, sure, it's beautiful, but that's just with that certain environment. If you take how big Hawaii is, the environment eventually gets kind of boring, and which is why they have what's it called?
Yeah, it's very one dimensional.
Yeah, they have a rock fever, I think they call it, where it's like you get sick of being in such like the same places over and over
Yeah,
again.
everything looks the same.
Right.
Like, yeah, it's pretty, but
Yeah, and their government ranking or economy ranking is 16th in U.S. News. So they are generally very stable from what it seems. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure we get those.
all right. Illinois.
Fuck Illinois.
Fuck Illinois, bro.
Fuck.
Fuck Chicago.
Yeah,
Fuck the entire lower half of Illinois.
Yeah.
Learn how to drive.
Oh yeah.
Learn how to drive. Learn how to do anything with your government.
All right. Chicago sports. We got the Bears. Fuck the Bears. Good luck with Mitchell Trubisky. You should have done more with Big Dick Nick. Let's see. We got the Blackhawks. I fucking hate the Blackhawks. Let's see. Baseball. You have the White Sox and the Tigers. I don't know why you thought you deserved two different baseball teams, but they both suck. Oh, that's right. The Tigers are Detroit. Cubs.
The Cubs are a little bit of a bonus.
Cubs.
They
Okay,
are the
I'll give them a
underdog.
little bit on the Cubs.
Yeah.
And fuck, what sport? Chicago. The Bulls. Bulls. They had Michael Jordan at one point. These days, the Bulls don't do jack shit. They just kind of. They're kind of like. Well, the Dolphins are even starting to come up. And I was gonna be like, well, they're kind of the Dolphins of the NBA, and that like. Yeah, they were like a huge dynasty back in the day, and like, this, that, and the other. But these days, they just kind of don't do anything.
Ooh, they got
But
the
now the Dolphins are actually starting to do well.
they got the deep dish pizza.
They got the deep dish pizza, which is nice on occasion, but
Yeah.
like I don't think I would actually want to eat that often.
No.
Yeah.
They're windy as shit. That's what they're known for. That Chicago is the windy city, which I know is actually like an allegory for the politics of Chicago, but like it's also actually windy as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I looked at my second choice for college was actually was just outside of Chicago, so I went up there
Oh.
and checked it out. Dominican, and I don't know, Chicago crime is awful.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Yeah. It's one of the worst cities. in
Lower
the US.
Illinois is nothing but drugs and nothing. It's just flat, and nothing happens there other than corn.
Yeah.
And the people that I've met from Illinois, I can't say that I've had great experiences.
For some reason, they rank these Illinois as 14th. That might also be they're mentioning the Midwest. It's the heart of the Midwest.
Okay.
So that's the rural areas, but not the
It
city.
is.
Um,
It's the heart of the Midwest, but it doesn't actually give off like the correct Midwesterner vibe.
yeah, and if you take the whole state and not just Chicago, it says it has 19 of the safest cities in the country. But that obviously doesn't include Chicago.
But there's no one there.
There's no one
Outside
there.
of Chicago, there's nothing.
yeah, there's
There,
nothing.
you got Springfield. I'll give them that.
Where,
But
isn't that Homer Simpson and all that?
there's a Springfield in every state.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
they're
that's-
multiplying.
That's the whole thing. That's why
Oh,
they
that's
went
the
to Springfield.
joke?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're actually, fun fact, they did back in late 90s, early 2000s, there was a competition for like calling in or doing something. It was like whoever wins, that's where canonically it is. And Vermont actually won. Canonically, they don't ever address it, but The Simpsons take place in Springfield, Vermont,
We
which is
got
a
it.
trash
That's
town.
so
That's an
funny.
awful place to live.
Yeah. Like Vermont,
Oh my
if
gosh.
you go out of
That is-
northwestern Vermont, nothing exists pretty much.
Yeah,
Just
that
driving through woods.
That is Heroinville. That's where The Simpsons
You
live.
know, what was the town in Vermont that bullied the shit out of druggies? Was that like I think it started with an
Bullied?
S. Or
What do you mean by bullied them?
they just literally walked out and started bullying people who were taking drugs until they stopped.
I haven't heard about this.
Yeah, apparently.
That's amazing.
Oh God, what's one of the? I'll have to look that up. But
Yeah.
So, side note, want to add in here real quick.
okay.
They do kind of address it because there's a crossover episode with Family Guy
Uh-huh.
and
And they're
They-
from Rhode Island, which
yeah.
is also New England.
yeah, and they end up like have to get their car fixed in Springfield.
Yeah.
And it's like right in the same area.
All right.
I think the city was either Stowe.
Stowe. I can see
Or-
Stowe doing that.
I don't know if Rutland is. I don't think. It
No,
would be.
Rutland is still overrun by druggies.
Okay, so
Rutland
it's
is-
probably.
Rutland is why Vermont is the heroin capital of the U.S.
Okay,
It's
so yeah,
just Rutland.
it was probably Stowe then.
Stowe
yeah.
seems like that because Stowe is a bunch of preppy white kids that come from money.
Yeah.
And they're like, man, look at these druggy peasants. Get out of here.
So not only does Vermont have Hallmark under its grasp, because every other show apparently has some vacation spot to Vermont. We have The Simpsons, at least a little bit, with the crossover episode that kind of muddies the water. But okay. Let's go back to fucking Illinois. then.
Illinois, easy F tier for me.
Yeah, I would say so. I
Yeah.
would put
I'd
it
be comfortable with that, yeah.
if it could be equal with California. That would be amazing. But obviously, this is
It's above Florida.
Let's put it above. Let's put it above California because the rural areas tend to be
Yeah.
better.
Okay. Yeah. Indiana. What even happens there?
Indians.
Home to Larry Bird from French Lick.
Okay.
They have the Pacers and the Colts. Indianapolis as a city seems all right, actually, from what I've heard.
Ooh, Indians.
Super cheap place to live.
Indiana is ranked 6th.
Really?
Sixth and friendly.
They-
really
they-
friendly people.
They pride themselves on their exceptional quote, "Hoosier hospitality." end quote.
Hoosier.
Hoosier. Hoosier.
Hoosier.
Hoosier. Hoosier. If Indiana was French, which they probably were. I mean,
Maybe.
I can't remember. How far
Probably.
west is Indiana?
Fucking.
Were they within
They border Ohio, right? That's their.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're in between Chicago, or not Chicago, Illinois and Ohio. So no, they wouldn't be French.
Environmentally, it's pretty flat. There's not much going on. I wouldn't say it's ugly, but probably like a C or a D tier.
It's
for
not good
environment.
looking.
Yeah, probably C or D tier for environment.
Uh,
People sounds like an A tier.
and their government is ranked 36th. The only thing they are really good at is fiscal stability and somewhat opportunity.
Yeah,
But everything
And
else
it's-
is kind of like falling apart.
and it's really cheap to live there.
Yeah.
I'd say Indiana's a good C tier.
Okay, yeah, I would agree with that. Where would it be on C tier?
I would put it above Connecticut.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure that I'd put it above Arizona.
Well, okay, so the weather is probably a
The
big
weather's
factor.
probably it's a typical Midwest weather, probably.
Yeah, so like it's
Yeah.
not bad weather. It's not amazing, but it's better than
But
just
it's
the
temperate.
total.
Like summers are not sweat your balls off, and
Mhm.
winters are probably not freeze your nuts off.
And the people are nicer.
So
Uh,
you know what? Fuck it. We'll put it above Arizona.
Yeah,
Top
Good
of
for
C
you.
tier right now. Indiana. Yeah.
good for you, Indiana.
Oh,
I'm okay with that.
Iowa.
Iowa. I keep forgetting that state is a thing.
It's directly to the north of us, and I forget about its existence.
Yeah.
And it
I actually ended up accidentally driving there once or twice on my way
Accidentally.
to St. Louis a couple of times. So, yeah. There's my little anecdote about it. Was all accidental. I can promise you.
I've only met one person from Iowa. He was pretty chill. He didn't. No offense, if you're ever listening to this, he's not really the type to watch this kind of stuff. But wasn't a ton of personality. Just kind of a blank slate guy.
So
Um,
they say they're 29th
20.
for being generally friendly and kind state, waving hello and whatnot.
So not much going on with people. Not bad, but not.
They're
great.
average. Average
They're-
people that
They're
are
just
just
kind
kind.
of an average place.
Average place.
Forgettable. Forgettable isn't
sounds
bad
about
as far
right.
as a ranking. It just means that you're middle of the pack.
That could
There's nothing
be
going on.
that could be one of the best things for you because when you look at like Colorado and Texas, how Californians are flooding over there.
Yeah.
It fucks up the system.
Don't be an extremist. Be a centrist.
Yeah, be somebody that people forget, kind of like Switzerland, and then you just improve yourself along the way. Now, a fun fact. I wonder if there's.
Iowa C tier. In that case,
Yeah,
Middle
if
of
it's
the pack?
middle of the pack, it has to be middle of the pack. No.
I'll put them above Connecticut,
Okay. What was the one after
Yeah.
that?
Arizona.
Yeah, I would say so.
Right there. Kansas.
Hey, Kansas is.
Everything gets destroyed by tornadoes.
Is that one of the states where they joke about
It's
like the mobile homes and people like I couldn't expect this to happen.
Yeah.
And it happens every year. Is that one of them?
Kansas is also technically flatter than an actual pancake.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, actually, that's actually a misconception. After you get past like the first third or so of Kansas, it gets surprisingly hilly. So there is some variance, though not much. I would say.
I feel like Kansas, the people don't seem like, from what I've heard, they're not like overly like friendly.
Hmm.
It's,
So-
it's kind of
No, yeah.
It's kind of like slightly worse Iowa.
So this site says they're 8th on the list.
8th in
But-
friendliness,
but
really.
the description doesn't actually say
That
anything.
surprises me.
The
No description.
No, the description is just a bunch of like general words for nice. It's like the famous Kansas friendliness can come as a surprise for visitors from other states. So be prepared to engage in random
The-
conversation.
The famous Kansas friendliness. How come I've never heard of it?
Yeah, exactly.
I was just gonna say I've never heard of that.
So I would put them on Iowa territory of like average people.
I'm gonna put them below Connecticut. They're gonna be low C tier.
Wait. I need to add something. Their government is ranked 22nd. But how the fuck don't they have Kansas City? If you can't even have a city that's named after your state and it's in another state's possession, you don't
Actually,
fuck
half
them.
of Kansas City is in Kansas.
Well, they have half of Kansas City. The other half is in Missouri.
Well, yeah, but it grew to be that way. Like my
Yeah,
aunt
like
lives in
mitosis.
Kansas City, but we have to specify that she lives in Kansas City, Kansas.
No,
Because, like, it's
no.
a different.
It's mitosis, Nate. We learned this in biology class.
Dude, that's where we met.
You might have learned this in
Yeah.
biology class.
All right.
But, okay.
Kansas low C tier.
Low C tier.
Kentucky. They got the Kentucky Derby. They got some neat mountains.
Fried chicken.
Fried chicken, Southern hospitality. I had an aunt who's from Kentucky, and she was the kindest, most heavily Southern person I've ever met.
Okay.
I believe it.
They grow. They're like the lemon place, aren't they?
Um.
That's where they grow.
Is that-
the
While
lemons.
I'm looking for it, that was the place where Happy Birthday was invented.
Okay. I
Um,
feel like people-wise, Kentucky easy A tier.
well, oh yeah, because the people were ranked 19th.
I can't think of a single like instance where I'm like Kentucky is a mean person. You know,
Right.
they're just always like jovial, like Southern person.
Now their
Yeah, I can see
government
that.
is ranked very low because the only good things they have is a natural environment and low crime and corrections. Other than that, you're looking at most of their stats being in the 30s or like 40s.
I feel like
So
Kentucky high B tier, like mid to high B tier.
yeah,
Like I'd put it above Alaska, but not above Georgia. No.
let me look at the
Like it's around where Georgia is in my mind.
Yeah.
let me look at the environment of Kentucky because I think this would either decide if it's or a B or A.
Yeah.
And it seems like kind of just an average southern state. So the environment doesn't seem bad, but it doesn't seem overly special. So that might be high B. Might be
High
high B.
Okay.
But it's not going to break the A tier into A tier.
Okay, so do we want to just under Georgia in that case?
Yeah. Wait.
Above
Sure.
Georgia?
Wait. So what would be the one beyond Georgia?
Georgia is currently top of B tier, and
Okay.
the only one above that we have a single A tier in Colorado.
Okay. So I would put it just below Georgia,
Okay, yeah.
which isn't an insult at all because I would say it's very close, those two. That we had to sit and kind
Yeah.
of think about it.
Yeah, that's
We
definitely.
also had a lot of good things to say about Georgia, so you know.
Louisiana.
The French fuckfest of the country.
What if I spoke Cajun though? Look, don't get me wrong. Louisiana cuisine is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Bayou and Cajun food is wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Now, they are ranked
The-
50th
The
for their government.
yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. They are ranked 12th for people though.
The party town of New Orleans, the people, yeah, like 1 in 10 is gonna be some guy that's trying to fight you, but the other 9 are like super friendly.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is trying to pull the guy who's trying to fight you back.
Yeah, and the other 8 are just being nice.
So, there was something I learned in business law class. You know, at some point when America became a thing, each state had their own currency.
Mhm.
And it took a very long time. I think they started in the 1800s when the common currency was adopted. Guess which state took the longest to accept that common currency?
Louisiana.
It sounds like you're about to say Louisiana.
Yeah, it was Louisiana. And now for the real question, because we all knew it was going to be Louisiana based on the context. When did they adopt it? This is going from 1776 all the way up until present day.
1922.
22? Okay.
Ooh, I'm gonna go like probably. I would say it sounds like it's during. I'm gonna go 1915.
From what I remember, it was 1993.
90.
Damn.
They
That
used-
seems.
It does seem
Too
suspicious.
late.
No, but it's been backed up by my professor, and there's I can't remember the name of the bill, but it was like a common currency bill. They took fucking forever, and that kind of shows how shitty their government can be, or
Yeah.
how out of whack they are.
I
So-
feel like that brings them. I don't know if we're ever gonna hit S tier on this.
We might have to adjust it later on because we probably put our standards too high.
Yeah.
Because everybody idealizes certain areas of the world, but then it turns out those regions are just as shitty or just as average as other areas. So we can figure this out later, but just for now,
I feel like Louisiana is. I feel like Louisiana is an A tier that's below Colorado.
A tier with a terrible government and
Yeah,
kind of nice people, and the environment's hot as
pretty.
hell. It's a
Well, you're
swamp.
forgetting the swamp.
The food, bro.
The food is good.
I mean, you're not wrong. I'm certainly not disagreeing with you, but I am
culture
saying
of
you're a swamp.
Louisiana
I-
is
Look, if we are taking the worst government in the country, well, close to California. If we're talking close to California,
all right.
there's not much you can do
It's
to raise it
all
up.
right. It's a low C.
Low C. You're on
I'm
thin.
putting it above Kansas though.
Yeah, you're on thin fucking ice, Louisiana. You have a good party spirit, but you need to fix yourself.
All right, on to the one
Wait,
state.
Louisiana's like the
You're a
fact-
party animal, but calm down.
All right, so let's move on to the one state that's whiter than ours, Jason.
Woo!
Vermont, for those who don't know, is the second whitest state by population percentage in the country.
Yeah.
The only state that is whiter is Maine. So, okay, Maine, really fucking cold. They have a coastline, but Portland and all that is so cold.
Well, I lived there when I was in college. Well, I was in college, so I guess technically live.
Yeah.
It is not very cold, and it's kind of like Vermont. It's not very cold in the seasons that isn't winter.
Okay.
When it becomes winter, there's generally more snow than normal.
Because it's more on the coast.
Yeah, and the wind from the ocean makes it slightly colder. But
Okay.
that isn't terrible.
I also, from talking to Jason Field, my neighbor, who's really into sailing, and he went to University of Southern Maine.
Yeah.
He had the time of his life in Portland because
Yeah.
the sailing conditions are like perfect there.
I should have gone to Southern Maine, and this is something I wanted to bring up. Maine does not exist off of like the coast. As long as you
there's
go,
nothing.
as long as you stay within an hour of the coast, there's at least something there. There's usually like beaches or colleges, or like Portland. There's towns and such.
And you were in Bangor, which
I was
is
in Bangor. It had 10 buildings in Orono, Maine, and most of them like Orono was either Orono was the closest town or Bangor was the closest town. I think Orono was where the college was.
Okay.
And that made up almost the entire population of the town. And Bangor there was nothing there. I'm
Yeah,
not going to
dude.
lie to you. It was empty. So it very, very picturesque for nature, kind of like Alaska,
Uh-huh.
a little bit more developed, but you have to be on the coast to actually enjoy people.
Now, speaking of people, I'm just going to put it out there. I hate the people of Maine. I can't stand like Maine people.
And why is that?
They just give me such a huge holier than thou attitude. And they're like, we're you but better. That's us. You, a Vermonter,
Sounds like
you
when you
are
were me.
you are a lesser version of us, Maine people.
I never came across that when I was in college. Obviously, it's college kids, so you're more like the college kids
Yeah.
were really nice. And if I didn't want to get out of University of Maine, I would have stayed solely because the people were extremely nice.
Really.
But
Huh.
I personally have never enjoyed talking with a person from Maine.
well, were they around your age or older?
All over the place actually.
All over? Okay.
And never.
Okay. So let's consult the top 50 friendly states.
Okay.
It says 31st, which is weird.
They're middle of the pack, but slightly on the lower side.
I mean, let's assume it's average because you have to have a range of average people.
But I'm saying of the 50, that
Yeah.
puts them
Oh yeah, yeah.
just slightly below average.
Yeah. There, it says low crime rate and general friendliness of locals makes it a popular state to move to, but they're
Yeah.
often very reserved,
Uh-huh.
but they can be open and warm. And I will agree with that. Northeastern,
Can be open and warm.
yeah, that's something that Robin and I have grown up with. You, how to explain it would be,
You hunker down and survive, but when people are around, it's kind of like, okay, yeah.
well, you slowly open up to people. It's kind of like the European approach to being friends. Once you're a friend to somebody, you're a friend.
But
And-
it takes a bit to get there.
Yeah, it takes a while, and I can back that up with my experiences in Europe. The Polish people that I met and the German people that I met are very much the same way. And so, funny enough, a Polish person I was talking to said that the Northeast was like the Europe of America, and I can
I can
totally
see
see that.
I can totally see that too. Yeah.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say it is a bad thing that they're reserved. The holier than thou, I kind of sucks to hear, but I haven't come across it to be like this is consistent. At least
Yeah.
maybe you just are.
Nate, what are your? Have you had any interaction with like people from Maine? Have you been to Maine? Anything like that? Any connections to Maine whatsoever?
Not really. Now that I'm thinking about it, like I think my my cousin might have lived there for a little bit, but he moved back. Aside from that,
All right.
I don't really have anything else on that.
So we have our perceived notions of what Maine is from being New Englanders. What do you, as a Midwesterner, think of when you hear Maine? Like, what is Maine to you?
I guess I don't know. There's fishing in Maine, right? Like, isn't that one of the big?
It's a big
Important-
place for northeastern people to go swimming somehow because it's really cold. But you can still swim. There's a lot of,
like the polar dip. I know. Yeah.
there's a lot of beaches. There's a lot of fishing. There's a lot of that like a commercial fishing is huge.
It's where all the Stephen King novels take place, basically.
Oh yeah,
But
and they have a decent government. They're at 32nd on the ranking.
I don't know. I
But it's a little cold.
personally, I know that you're not going to put
I
it.
mean, obviously, there's all of that, and then a very democratic government.
Yeah.
Is also what comes to mind is
Maine's also one of
fishing,
the
cold, and
they're one of the split electoral vote states.
Yeah, which
They-
means that they actually
Half of it's blue and half of it's red.
so they treat their
Interesting.
citizens fairly in a way.
Yeah.
They give them the chance to represent themselves.
That's good.
I personally, I know that my bias comes into this a lot, but I would
Yeah.
put them at D.
Yeah,
I know that's not where they're gonna.
Uh,
I know that's not where it's gonna end up. But
Yeah, I would say A tier below. Which
Ooh.
one was up there?
Colorado.
Yeah, Colorado.
You would put it at A.
Because you said Colorado is
Really?
Vermont is like the Colorado of the Northeast, and Maine is very much similar, but it's a little bit more kind of like it's in between Colorado and Alaska in a way, where when you do get the experience, it is a good experience. But when maybe I did see a little bit of that.
It's starting to pop up.
Not too much, but occasionally it's more of like the small town people who are just sick of people visiting, because there is a lot of tourism in Maine.
So
But I
okay.
would say A tier below Colorado, because I've been there, I've lived there for a while. I can say it is very nice, and the people, although some are assholes, the ones that do become your friends are one of the biggest benefits to living in Maine.
Nate,
Yeah.
I'm thinking of putting it directly above Alaska. With that, we're consulting you as third party here.
Where's Alaska again?
It's in mid to high B tier currently.
I would definitely say high B tier at a good.
I think directly above Alaska. Nate, are you cool with that?
I have maybe we just zoned out the entire time. But what's the weather like there?
It's very normal in a way where the different climates
It's,
or the different seasons are very distinct. You can tell when it's fall. You can tell when it's summer. You can tell when it's spring. You can definitely tell when it's winter. And it's not that bad. It's probably like
they've got a decent amount of mountains as well, and they have a coastline, but
Yeah.
it's not really a beach, you know?
It can be a beach,
Yeah,
but
no.
the water is always cold. You can never get like nice enough water to just kind of like relax in. You just kind of get in, get used to being numb, and then if you survive, you come back out.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm okay with B tier.
All right.
Where-
Directly above Alaska.
Which one was above Alaska? the-
Kentucky. So I'm putting it in between Alaska and Kentucky.
Okay. And then what was above Kentucky again?
Georgia, and then top
Okay.
right now is Colorado.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. We just have a few more. Maryland. For those who don't know, we took a quick pause and we've decided that we're going to stop at Mississippi so that we pick up with Missouri. This is taking a lot longer than we expected.
But
But I think it's good.
at
I think
the
it's
pace.
good
Yeah.
that we have like a true discussion on each state. Speaking of which, Maryland.
it's close enough to Connecticut, but I don't get the same vibe as
Not
Connecticut.
at all.
No.
No. Maryland to me is like Connectictic's inner city.
And that's how they describe it in this friendly state.
Baltimore
Website?
as a city
Fuck you, Baltimore.
scares me.
If you're a dumb enough schmuck. Okay, but they ranked it 27th because he said it's the most densely populated states in the nation,
I can
and
see
it's home to diverse cultures. Now, given
Yeah.
our argument with Maine
that.
and how peaceful it is, there can be some conflicts between cultures and peoples.
Yeah, which has been shown to happen in Baltimore.
Yeah. But it says you can easily find a new friend in a bar because, it's densely
And
populated.
to be fair, Maryland is almost entirely coastline, and it's not freezing cold.
Mhm.
It's like right on that line where it starts to become warm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I feel like Maryland is like a.
It's kind of like an in-between from the northeast, northeast into
It's-
the east coast.
It's
So you get the benefit of the northeast, like the
it's kind of
atmosphere.
like
You
it's
get
kind
the
of like
weather.
Missouri, and where Missouri is both Midwest and South.
Yeah.
Really,
Yeah.
it's
It's a it's a
Don't,
hybrid.
don't go too far south. It does become south.
yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. And if you go up north, it becomes very Midwest.
Mhm. Now they do rank the government as 6th in the nation.
Really?
They have very good health care, very good opportunities, average, if not slightly better than average economy, infrastructure, crime, and natural environment, which is weird for the crime part.
Yeah.
And education is very good.
I could see that. Well, shit.
I would say like middle to lower B tier.
I would put them.
It's got a fun shape.
It does have a fun
A
shape.
fun shape. The flag is kind of cool.
You know what? I'd put them directly below Alabama, I think, and directly above Hawaii.
I would go
I can live
one
with that,
above. I would go one
One
above
up?
Alabama
So put them
because the weather.
just under Idaho, but above Alabama.
Yeah, because the weather and the friendliness is still kind of there, and their government's really good.
Okay. Massachusetts. Now this
Hey, massholes.
is where I'm from. I'm
Yeah.
from Boston originally. And let me say, there's a reason my parents moved as soon as I was born.
Just like Florida. In
They
a
were
way.
like, we don't want to raise a child in the city.
Yeah.
You know, what was the line? It's amazing how one city can have so many Ivy League schools, and yet everyone there is a fucking idiot.
It's confusing. It's kind of like Connecticut, where
Oh my gosh.
like a good state does not necessarily mean the people are good in terms of like wealth and whatnot.
Boston
It's-
people are like the thing that we said about Maine and Vermont people with the friendliness to an extreme, where they're very hard on the outside, but if you can finally fucking crack through that exterior, the people of Boston are the most chummy people of all time.
Yeah, you do have to find that.
But God, do you have to go mining for a bit?
Yeah, and you might lose a lot of friends along the way. It sounds like because if they're very determined, like stubborn, it sounds
They're
like
stubborn.
then if you find one thing that just kind of cracks that friendship, then it's probably gonna crash
Yeah.
and burn.
But-
So Massachusetts is 47th friendliest state.
I can see that.
It says they aren't exactly rude per se, but their overall indifference towards strangers can take its
Yeah.
toll.
Yeah.
Ignoring people isn't exactly a trait that will put Massachusetts
No.
as a friendly state.
And outside of the coast, there's nothing going on in Massachusetts. It's flat, and there's nothing going on.
Right.
You don't get me wrong. The coast, like Cape Cod, Martha's Vineyard, all that, gorgeous.
Yeah.
But that's
So-
it. Boston as a city, also. You remember Jacob Parker?
Yeah.
He had to take a city planning course for his major.
Oh,
And there was one that was entirely Boston. That was his class, was studying Boston.
if you want,
Because Boston is the ultimate fuck up in city planning. They
Yeah.
did not plan that shit properly.
right
If you look at a road map of Boston, you might have a seizure.
now, what's funny about that too is it's inversely related to how interesting the city is, because
Yeah,
like New
it's-
York City, it's a bunch of tall buildings in square
Yeah.
blocks.
Boston definitely, as a city, has a lot more character
Yeah.
than most other cities.
So it's
But
more
it's not always.
yeah, it's not
for
always
good
good.
reason.
If they planned it out where if they planned it out where you didn't have one way roads going everywhere, weird angled roads, like from what I heard from my dad when he would visit, he had to like drive back and
There's-
around 4 or 5 times to find a place.
Yeah, because if you want to go somewhere, there's only one way to go there, basically.
Yeah.
There's not like, oh, it's just pure squares. It's no, you got to take this, and this, and that'll finally spit you out there. And I hope to God you don't miss anything on that entire way.
Yeah. So it is.
That sounds awful.
Massachusetts also well known, and the stats are actually there to prove it. Worst drivers in the U.S.
Yeah. And that's why people in the Northeast call them massholes.
Yep.
Because like they're known for driving up into places and then just being cocky drivers.
Now, as far as a government,
They-
Massachusetts actually has their shit together, hardcore.
They are ranked 8th. And healthcare, education is
Education
the
is
best.
the highest education in the U.S.
Healthcare is second best.
Yep.
Economy is 7th best.
Mhm.
Crime and connections, funny enough, is 4th.
Yeah, they're actually
Um,
really on top of their shit.
Opportunity, fiscal stability, and natural environment are all in the later 20s.
Yeah.
But infrastructure is 44th. That makes sense.
Massachusetts roads. Yeah.
Now, what's funny is
yeah.
whenever I think of Massachusetts, I only think of Boston. It's kind of like the rest of Massachusetts. Massachusetts.
Dude, I
doesn't
even forget
exist.
about Cape Cod sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Well-
that's a huge part of Massachusetts, and I'm like, Boston is all there is.
I drove into Cape Cod to visit a friend.
Gorgeous.
It is very, very, like,
Yeah.
beautiful.
It is.
And I happened to be there when they had a hot flash of like, or hot flash. What is it called? Like a hot wave or heat wave.
Heat
There we
wave,
go.
there you
Jesus
go.
Christ. A heat wave where it was like 114, and I got burned to the point where I did look like a lobster.
114 in Cape. Jeez.
And I went out for 30 minutes to go swimming, and then we were walking. We were walking to a pizza place to eat, which I know sounds stupid, but was recommended by our hosts. So I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. I was stupid.
Ow.
And while I was walking, I was getting burned through my shirt, and we didn't have anything. But my friend was part Native American, so she didn't feel a thing.
But she was fine.
And then she looked over to me when we were coming back from the pizza place, and she's like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" And I had to hold
bright red.
I had to hold a pizza box for like 2.5 miles in the perfect angle where I didn't get burned, and because as soon as I removed myself from the shade, it just instantly felt like I was in a fire. So, but that's the exception, though. I just want to bring up that
Wow.
story.
I feel Massachusetts is so all over the place in like all aspects. Government wise, amazing.
I think, yeah,
Look wise is somewhere mid range because it has some great stuff and it has some like nothing's really happening here stuff.
Mhm.
People wise,
there's something in there though.
there's,
Well, if
there's
you,
something going on in Massachusetts.
I think it is. I think it is a solid A tier.
Solid A tier.
Even though
You
the
know what?
people are kind of like assholes in a way,
Yeah, but
When you
there's
break
something
through that.
endearing about their kind of asshole. It's
Yeah.
not.
it's why people always talk in that accent.
It's not the same.
There's something endearing about their asshole. There's just something about it.
We have it's like an abusive relationship.
It,
You're just like, man, he's an asshole, but I love him.
I will put. I'll put them. Do we want to put them above or below Colorado?
Below.
Below Colorado. Okay.
We will adjust the states quickly before we leave, but that being in the tier that they're at is a very good sign that they will stay
they're
near the top of
they're,
A tier.
They're up there.
Okay.
All right, Michigan
Michigan.
can't have shit in Detroit, bro.
Diversity.
Detroit, home to the modern car, basically.
Yeah.
But also home to the Detroit Red Wings.
Yeah.
And people stealing torches from people's houses while they sleep.
Yeah. I mean, why
Did you see
pay
that
for
post?
a porch? No,
There's
yeah, I saw it.
Some guy, he's on Facebook, he says, I took a step out my door and I fell 5 feet. Some motherfucker literally took my fucking stoop while I was asleep.
What?
Yeah, and it's just a picture of
I
the
didn't
front of
hear
his
about
house,
this.
and there's no stairs and there's just a door. His front door is like 5 feet up with nothing underneath it.
If we have a
What
picture,
the hell?
funny enough, they're ranked 28th friendliest state. But that's because they bring up Midwest politeness inside of the
Yeah, outside
state.
of Detroit, Michigan is like super stereotypical Midwest.
It's another Illinois
Oh, yeah.
example.
Not to mention the lakes are beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It has a lot of nature to it because it is northern. The northern half of the U.S. is special, kind of like how the beaches and like the hot
Yeah.
weather is kind of special to the south.
Yeah.
Just
like Kansas is fucked.
yeah, there's nothing. They're on that border. But yeah, the other thing is their economy is ranked 33rd. And
Ooh,
the only good thing is opportunity and actual economy. Everything else is 30, high 30s, high 20s, and a couple of 40s. So they really aren't doing well in most other stuff.
I feel like Michigan is like either a low C or a high D.
I would say high C.
Yeah.
High C.
High C because the nature and once you get out of Detroit and whatnot, it's kind of it has that Midwest
Okay.
okay. What's it called, reputation.
Yeah. Nate, where are you feeling on this one?
I'm feeling the C.
Are
Okay,
you
so
feeling
I
Nate?
said high
It's
C.
a good-
Robin says low C. Are you saying center C?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I would say I do kind of feel like it's in the middle. I mean,
Okay. Let's put it in
it's
the middle.
not like the best, but it's not fantastic.
I tell you
If I
what,
was gonna say, I would say low.
maybe
If I
One
put
or
a gun
two
to my
low.
head,
Yeah, that one probably
it-
seems good.
let's see, put it underneath Connecticut but above Louisiana.
I would put it
Okay.
above Connecticut because Connecticut's they're just straight up assholes.
Yeah, you know, I agree with
Okay.
that. Yeah.
At least with criminals, you know what they're like thinking, but with assholes, you never really know.
Assholes are just assholes.
Assholes
dude.
are assholes. There's something
All right.
special that everybody hates about assholes.
Okay, we got two left for this episode here. Minnesota.
I've heard really good things. And before I continue, I just saw this. They are ranked first in friendliness.
I could believe that. I have
Huh.
an uncle that just moved out there to. My uncle Paul moved to St. Paul, and
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they cite Twin Cities as hard to match for like how homey it is and how locals
it's
go the extra mile to be nice.
yeah, it's just a sick place. It's cold and it's harsh there. I will
Yeah.
give them that. And it's what they're the land of 10,000 lakes or some shit like that.
Yeah.
That's their
I think because they are in the Great Lakes area.
their entire state is just littered with lakes.
They do have the third best opportunity of a state, third best natural environment, sixth best infrastructure, and everything else except fiscal stability, which is at 25,
Which
is
is
mid to higher teens.
so they government wise
Good
killing
government.
it.
Good government. And I would say
People wise, they're killing it. And as far as an environment, if you're fine with the cold, like because they're like I said, their winters are a little harsh.
Yeah.
But other than
Yeah.
that, like
I would have to argue this is our first S tier.
I think I might be with you there. I think Minnesota because on everything it hits.
And the government is not perfect, of course, but that is asking the impossible from the government no less.
Be the perfect state. Come on.
Yeah. Minnesota, thank you for being the way you are. Please just conquer the rest of the U.S. that isn't good, and just bring happiness and peace. And bring the accent with you.
all right.
The accent.
Bring the accent with you.
Speaking
Okay,
of-
I will say the accent is a fantastic addition to
Yeah.
to Minnesota
Really
hospitality.
Maybe that's why they're so nice. You can't be mad at somebody with that accent.
All right. So with that, we come to our final state for this episode. We're gonna take a hard turn to the south and go to Mississippi.
Oh boy.
Okay.
They have-
We immediately put DC in F or in shit tier, and I would argue Mississippi would be the same.
Really?
Okay, so
I don't know much about Mississippi actually.
from what I'm reading,
So I will leave this one more to you two actually.
they're the 23rd friendliest. They have in the quote.
Okay.
It says, quote, Mississippi is a charming state with plenty of southern sweetness. One thing surprised most out-of-towners about Mississippi is how friendly the people are. They're polite and they can welcome you. But once you don't try to tell them how much better up north is. So they can be kind of like a little defensive. But when you look at the government side, I actually feel kind of sad because they are probably on par with Louisiana, because they are ranked 48th. Every single thing here, except for nature, is in the high 40s, and one is 50.
So they're just garbage everywhere.
They have the worst healthcare.
Yeah.
They have the worst healthcare and everything else. We're talking education, economy, infrastructure, opportunity, fiscal stability, crime, and connections. All of those are in the 40s.
Yeah, Mississippi needs a lot of help, and that's why I'm.
But the nature and the friendliness do give it some bonuses. And I think that should be
can
accounted for.
see that.
Isn't Mississippi one of those like Mr. Uncle Batty like
Uh,
states?
Maybe. I can't remember specifically, but usually it's a stereotype of all southern states.
I feel like it's more just Alabama and Mississippi though.
Maybe. I would say, well, where do we put Louisiana? We put it F tier. I don't think it deserves
Louisiana's
F tier.
an F
No,
tier.
Louisiana's C tier.
Yeah, Louisiana's
Oh,
low
C?
C.
Really?
The
Wait,
food.
What do we put for D tier?
Delaware. That's the
Delaware,
only
yeah,
thing
that's
D
what it
tier.
was. Never mind.
You know what?
Um,
I could go with Mississippi being low D tier because of their.
Yeah, you know what? I would agree with that. I don't think it's quite F tier because, like,
What's
if you're
D?
saying that
What's in D?
the environment of it is that good,
Well, I
but
thought,
like everything else is trash.
I thought you said Delaware was in F tier.
No.
What'd you
You
say?
asked what was in D tier, and I said Delaware. And
Okay,
then
what's
a minute
in
later, you're like,
F
what's in
tier?
D tier?
What's in F tier then?
Illinois, California, and Florida.
Really doesn't deserve to go with those guys.
Yeah, no.
No.
We'll put it in the grand scheme of things below Delaware and above
Yeah.
Illinois, and that puts it in D tier.
Yes. So, that is the first part of this series. Before we end it, I think we should try to spread out our current answers a little bit.
It was just hot as shit. And Iowa's alright. Wait, oh, if Minnesota's good, why is Michigan so low? Because they should be similar in environment.
Why is Michigan so high?
Michigan's out.
It's a very nice and
Yeah,
beautiful state.
shouldn't it be lower?
No, well,
Detroit.
well,
That's what
so
I
the three requirements, we have the environment, the people, and the government.
I wanted
So the
to
environment's
know.
obviously very beautiful in the Great Lakes. The people can be nice. They're like Minnesota, I suppose. But I think it was the government that probably no, it wasn't the government. The only questions I have for you guys is, are Kansas like seriously a serious reason? Why should it be lower? And then I think
Wait, I'm sorry. Are you saying Kansas or Arkansas?
Arkansas.
Arkansas. I'm
Iowa,
getting confused.
Kansas.
I'm getting mixed up with the memes now.
Okay.
Uh,
So Kansas, why it should be, or
yeah, because Robin was adamant on it being lower.
But I'm actually fine where it is. That's-
Okay.
Yeah.
I would
Oh,
say
sauce.
Georgia and Kentucky are candidates for A tier.
Mhm.
Probably just Georgia, if anything.
Yeah,
Um,
I can agree with that.
and Michigan, I was wondering if that could go higher. Because it's close to Minnesota, so obviously it's going to be similar with nature.
No.
The nature part is really beautiful,
Uh-huh.
but the government and all that's bad, like the people.
Yeah.
They really.
Right.
Michigan is fine where it is.
Okay.
I would prefer it to be lower.
Yeah.
You would prefer it to be higher. So where it
Okay.
is right now is fine.
Okay, I'm just blurring all the times we were talking about them together.
Yes.
Yeah, but what about Georgia, the A tier?
I think I would be okay with that.
Because it is kind of like
Yeah.
one of those states where it's, I don't want to say iconic because that's a silly, well, let's save that for, wait. As far as I can see, I think that's all I wanted to say. Well, no, Florida above Illinois and California, because it's, like we were saying before, the governments in Illinois and California really fuck up. And
Whereas Florida, it's the people.
yeah, it's the crazy people, which is endearing. Like
I don't think it
Massachusetts.
is. I don't think it is.
What? What, you don't like people from Florida? What you What's
Boston
wrong?
people are just kind of assholes. Florida, you'll get killed.
I'm joking.
Florida, everyone is high on something and ready to get you.
People on
Now
bath
look,
salts
now
eat other people's faces.
but they're all in F tier. My only concern is you're putting Florida right next to DC if you string them out in a giant line.
Yes.
Would you rather have Florida or California run the country?
I don't want either of them.
If you had to
I'd
choose,
rather
the-
let Minnesota.
Minnesota. That if,
I
if-
would rather let Florida. I
so
guess.
that would be above California in a way, because
Can we
So you're
start
saying-
the Florida Man party?
yes, Florida
The
man.
Florida Man
Florida
party.
man. Can we move Florida up at least above California, if not above both Illinois and California? What are your guys' thoughts?
What do you think?
I think it.
Is
Fine.
that-
Sure.
Okay, yeah, let's just leave it above California. So that is the end of our shit tier list. Thank you guys for joining.
Part 1.
Part
part
one,
one,
yes.
shit tier
We will
list.
have part 2 out eventually when we have another, hour and a half to 2 hours to talk. So thank you guys for watching. Please let
Yeah.
us know what you think and if we should change things. And I hope you guys have a good day. Thanks.